Breaking news. General Christopher Gwabin Musa has just been nominated as Nigeria's new defense minister. And if you've been paying attention to the security crisis in this country, you already know this is not a normal appointment. This is not one of those harmless reshuffles where government changes one name and expects the public to clap. This is a move that carries weight, suspicion, and serious implications because Musa is not a lightweight. He is one of the very few security figures Nigerians have watched over the years and said, this one looks like he actually understands the battlefield. Musa is not your regular uniform for photo op kind of general. This is a field man, a theater commander, an operational brain, a no-nonsense officer who has spent years looking terrorism and banditry in the face and calling it exactly what it is. That is why many Nigerians are celebrating this nomination. In a moment like this, the country needs competence more than charm. Nigeria needs someone who understands the battlefield, not someone who only understands press statements. But at the same time, this nomination is coming with fear, real fear, because in Nigeria, competence doesn't always get promoted to solve problems. Sometimes it gets promoted to cover problems. Sometimes the system drags a strong person into the spotlight, not to empower him, but to use his reputation as a shield, while the same old games continue quietly behind the scenes. And that is why this appointment feels like good news and dangerous news at the same time. Now, let's look at what has been reported. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu nominated retired General Christopher Gwabin Musa as Minister of Defense on December 2nd, 2025, after the resignation of the former Defense Minister Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, who stepped down citing health reasons. The nomination has been sent to the Senate for confirmation. But the bigger story is not just new minister. The bigger story is the timing, the background, and what this nomination is really supposed to achieve. Because Musa is coming into that office at a time Nigeria is under heavy security pressure. Kidnappings, raids, rising attacks, public anger, and international scrutiny. This defense minister job is not ceremonial right now. This is not title and convoy. This is war room work, and Musa is not a stranger to the war room. He served as Chief of Defense Staff from June 2023 until he left that position during a leadership shakeup around October 2025. And that matters because many Nigerians are still asking questions about how and why he left, especially when you remember what he said shortly before he was removed. On October 19, 2025, General Musa spoke on BBC Hausa and warned against negotiating and making peace deals with terrorists or bandits. He called it counterproductive. He said, as someone who has commanded theaters of operation, these people are dangerous, they don't keep their word, and the communities or individuals pushing that kind of policy will regret it. That statement alone tells you the kind of security philosophy Musa represents. Hard realism. He's basically saying, stop romanticizing criminals. Stop legitimizing armed groups with peace meetings. Stop pretending you can handshake your way out of terror, because every time you negotiate with killers, you reward the business model. And in Nigeria, that kind of statement can make powerful enemies, because insecurity in Nigeria is not only a security problem. For some people, it is also a money problem, a contract problem, a political bargaining chip, a tool used to intimidate communities and manipulate regions. And that's why a soldier who insists on a straight fight, no deals, no public drama, no political doublespeak, can become inconvenient. So when people say removing Musa from the CDS position was a mistake, I understand the logic behind that opinion. A man with that much field intelligence and operational experience is not the kind of person you casually sideline in the middle of a national security crisis. Now let's talk about the part Nigerians never say loudly, but everyone senses. Why is he suddenly being brought back now? Because this nomination is coming after the former defense minister resigned, officially on health grounds. And yes, health reasons can be real, but Nigerians are not children. We've seen health reasons used many times as a polite wrapper when the real story is deeper. Internal disagreements, pressure from above, quiet battles, or fear of being turned into the scapegoat for a crisis that is bigger than one person. So when people say, only God knows what that man saw before he resigned, they're expressing something deeper. Nigeria's security leadership changes often happen with no transparency, no clear evaluation, and no honest briefing to citizens. That's why this Musa nomination is being read as more than a normal cabinet replacement. Some people are saying maybe Tinubu is finally serious. Others are saying no, Tinubu is trying to borrow credibility, using a respected security figure as a shield, as a political firewall, as a reset button. Nigeria has a history of governments packaging individuals as solutions, then turning the individual into a sacrifice when the system refuses to change. Now let's talk about who Musa actually is beyond the headlines. Christopher Gwabin Musa is a career military officer, trained through Nigeria's military institutions and also internationally. He rose through the ranks and reached the very top. That means this is not a politician learning defense on the job. This is not someone doing trial and error with people's lives. This is someone who has lived operations, lived intelligence, lived coordination between branches, and understands Nigeria's security terrain beyond Abuja briefings. So when he says, "I have been a theater commander," it is not motivational speaking. It is lived experience. And that experience is what shapes why he publicly rejected the peace deal culture. Now here is the real question this nomination forces us to ask. Is Musa being brought in because Tinubu wants results? Or is Musa being brought in because Tinubu wants protection? Those are two different reasons. If it is results, then Musa will need serious backing, real operational freedom, discipline across agencies, clear mandate, and political cover to confront not just the foot soldiers in the forest, but the sponsors, collaborators, and compromised networks that keep insecurity alive. But if it is protection, then Musa becomes a brand, a public symbol. A government can point to him and say, "Look, we appointed a strong man," while the same structures that feed insecurity continue quietly behind him. And the uncomfortable truth is, both can be happening at the same time. Tinubu can genuinely want stability and still want political advantage. That's why this nomination is not just about Musa, it's about the system Musa is entering. Because the truth is simple, Musa represents capacity. He represents a school of thought that says Nigeria cannot negotiate its way out of terror. It must disrupt it, dismantle it, and prosecute the people who benefit from it. To many Nigerians, that's hope. But the second truth is also simple. Nigeria's security success is bigger than one man. A defense minister can bring strategy, coordination, and discipline. But if the political class undermines him, if compromised actors remain in place, if budgets continue to become business, then even the best man can be turned into a disappointment. And that is why this story is not just Musa is nominated. The real story is this: A no-nonsense man is entering a nonsense system. And the question now is whether Nigeria will allow him to do the job, or whether they will use him, stain him, and dump him, like they have done to many people before.